I asked my dad to shorten the stool because I have a store in his shop called the Sticker Store, and the ceiling in there is kind of short, so I needed a short stool.
Since this is a jig, I'm using the drill press to get a perfectly straight hole through the piece of wood that will be my guiding hole for my drill. These are 1/2-inch oak dowel rods. They're like 3 feet long. I'm just cutting them down to be just slightly deeper than the piece that I'm going to be gluing it into, so I don't have to sand very much off. I'm using this little sander to put a bevel on it just to kind of make a nice aesthetic of the wood sticking out. I'm using the miter gauge just to the left of my hand here to kind of help me visually keep the same angle piece to piece. And as a bonus, I'm also using my jig to drill the bottom hole in each of the stakes. So this jig serves two purposes. One, it gives me a very consistent look every time I drill these two holes on a cross connection. The other reason is I can go really fast because I don't have to measure anything. I made one highly accurate jig and then I just go bam, bam, bam all the way around. I have 48 holes to drill with a 1/2-inch drill bit. That's a lot of drilling with a big drill bit. Here's the washer trick my dad showed me just for this video. It makes a really nice looking visual effect of the peg sticking out a little bit from the wood. So if you're wondering why I didn't drill and then immediately glue the peg in, The reason is simple. If you try to combine too many steps, you tend to lose track of where you are, and then that's when you make a mistake. So I drilled all the holes, then I stopped, then I came back and I pounded all the pegs in. Keep it simple. Remember, I've got 48 to do. Each of these sequences of me doing a step is more than an hour.
Climbing the tree because it is fun. I like it, the tree, because it is so fun that we climb in it a lot.
So if you're keeping track here, this is the third time I'm sanding these pieces. The first time I sanded them before I glued them. The second time I sanded them after gluing the crisscrosses. Now I'm gluing the dowel rods in and I'm sanding them a third time. And the reason is every time you have them in a different light, you see different things that need sanded. Plus every time you glue, you run the risk of spilling glue or whatever, and it needs to be sanded. I'm trying to make sure that the wood stays perfect, because when I go to spray the Varathane on, any glue that I missed, the Varathane probably won't stick very well and it'll look bad. So I put this close up just so you can see I'm sanding about an 1/8 inch off these pegs, which is what I was shooting for. And yes, as I was drilling the holes with my jig, I got some tear out on some of the holes. Unfortunately, the close-up one here that I picked has some bad tear out. Oh well, it's just a dinky trailer. So if the weather cooperates next week, I will have a video of me Varathaning this and building a trellis to hold it while I paint. If the weather doesn't cooperate, next week I will have the hardware prep of all the corner hardware. I'm going to sandblast them and repaint them. I'm also building a pop-down license plate holder to bolt underneath the deck.